In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.
Welcome back, Tech Zone. Paul Amadeus Lane. ABC News Radio came in a few weeks away from CES 2020, and I'm so excited. I've been covering CES since, I want to say, 2008 as a journalist. I have been going to CES since 1997. I was 5 years old. I love it. I'm a big tech head. I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. And just to see how it has grown over the years is just mind-boggling. And one of the things that I really, really appreciate about the Consumer Technology Association, the organization that puts on CES, is how accessible they have been. For me to contact them, to interview them, and it's truly an honor to have those great minds when it comes to tech be able to explain things a lot better than I could when it comes to the trade war impact, when it comes to tech spending and forecasting. They are just the folks to go to for accurate information. And I'm so happy that my next guest, I've been able to know him for over a decade and being able to chat with him. And I'm so happy I haven't scared him off yet. So let's bring him on. Joining me right now is my great friend from the Consumer Technology Association, CTA, the other great organization that puts on CES. 2020 is right around the corner. Steve does everything over there. Steve, what is your current title now? It changes like every year, every month. What's your current title, my friend?
Vice President of Research. All
right. Want to make sure I give you your props, my friend. So, hey, 3 weeks away. What do we have to look forward to, man? I'm so pumped. I am so amped. I know you are too. So what have you guys been doing to get yourself prepared for it?
Yeah, well, we've got, obviously, as soon as one CES ends, we start planning for the next one. And as you mentioned, in a few short weeks, specifically January 7th through 10th, we'll have CES 2020 in Las Vegas. And I think this will be a really interesting year for CES. CES always is held that first or second week of January. So every year setting the tone for the year from a technology perspective. But of course, for 2020, we're starting a whole new decade. So I think the narrative will be a lot about what's happening today and in the coming year for 2020, but also what we expect to unfold across this next decade. And what that looks like is 5G networks lighting up around the world and really propagating around the world. And that will unlock a lot of different potential for commercial, for industrial purposes across the economy. But also AI just really coming into different places, devices, services, and that's from the consumer angle right through to business. So a lot of what I'm saying is more task automation, more digital assistance. So a lot of really interesting things. And again, CES will set the tone.
And one thing, Steve, that when you mentioned AI, that I started to see, especially ones who I've been interviewing here recently leading up to the show, especially when it comes to assistive and adaptive technology, autonomous wheelchairs, autonomous cars, AI, and I think back, Steve, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago when you gave your talk about the forecast, and you mentioned AI, and back then we were kind of like, okay, yeah, we think of iRobot and all these other things, but now we see that AI is playing this integral part of technology as a whole, and we're really using it each and every day of our lives.
Well, it's true, and so from my perspective, I think for this decade, ending with 2019, This has really been the connected age of technology. So throughout this decade, we've seen our devices become progressively more connected, and we've had a number of services connecting to those devices along the way. I mean, we look at the rise of streaming media, whether it's video or audio. And so in recent years, we've begun to add in intelligence, and technologies like Alexa and Google Assistant are a couple of examples, but all of this is under the banner of AI. And again, this decade, we've described this connectivity activity as IoT, the Internet of Things. But I think this next decade, we're confronted with a new IoT, the AIoT. So really the artificial intelligence of things, or just intelligence of things for short. But this new IoT really does bear testimony, as you said, just as AI is permeating every facet of our commerce and our culture. And culture is really significant because what we're really talking about is AI starting to influence consumer behavior. And that starts to get really interesting when we think about these digital assistants that I think over the course of this new decade will almost become like virtual companions or our sidekicks, if you like, but really omnipresent in our experience, able to assist us with whatever we're doing, wherever we are. And then, as you mentioned, a whole variety of autonomous or self-driving systems that will help us get around, whether that's a personal device like a wheelchair, of course, or a self-driving vehicle or a bus. So a lot of innovation to look forward to in this next decade, characterized by the AI, OT, or the intelligence of things.
And Steve, when we look at just the explosion of innovation that we see around the world, and CES being that platform where companies and organizations can come and showcase this, it's just mind-boggling just how much CES have grown over the years. You know, we're looking at this day going into the new decade of 2020. I've been going to CES for 2020 will mark 4 decades from the 90s. So we see 90, yeah, that's 4 decades, yeah. And dang, I'm getting old. But the one thing I see, Steve, is just this great innovation that we see throughout the world, and it's just a testament to the creativity of folks out there, because you have startup companies, and then you have your more established companies out there. CES has grown just bigger than it's ever been, and this year something tells me that we're going to see some more incredible things around that IoT of things that you spoke about.
Well, you're right, and CES, I'm very pleased to say, continues to grow, and that's in a literal sense, physically, but also in a more qualitative sense in terms of the brands that attend CES. So we like to say at Consumer Technology Association, these days every company is a tech company. Now, why do we say that? Well, on the one hand, a lot of brands try to position themselves as very tech forward or leaning into tech as a means to kind of position their brand as being tech forward or very innovative. But it's also, I think, a testament to the fact that consumer tech touches just about everything that we're doing, whether it's professionally or personally these days. And so it all adds up to, yes, a quite an amazing experience across 4 days in Las Vegas at CES. You mentioned from the smallest startups to the biggest global brands, they're all there. And we have over 2,000 different exhibits, and we're expecting, roughly speaking, 170 plus thousand attendees from about 150 countries to attend CES 2020. So it's a fantastic event. It's the world's largest technology and innovation event, and it's a business event. It's where business gets done, and we have a lot of great keynotes from business leaders across the industry, including a lot of brands that, again, thinking about every company as a tech company. Ed Bastain of Delta Airlines is delivering a keynote. Travel and tourism is one economic sector where technology has played a major role in either smoothing travel, thinking about biometrics at security checkpoints and things like we see today at U.S. airports and around the world, but also other technologies enhancing the travel experience like AR and VR. So again, so many brands, so many technologies, really touching every facet of the economy at CES 2020.
And Steve, as we take a trip down memory lane, I remember in the '90s when first visited CES. It was at the convention center, and now we see over the years Mandalay Bay, Venetian, Aria, um, other CES events at different hotels and things like that. I often wonder how in the world can you guys keep things so organized? I mean, because it runs like a well-oiled machine over there of what you guys are doing.
Well, I have to give full credit to the operations team here. They do an amazing job, consummate professionals. But to be honest, I mean, I think the full-time staff here at CTA is just one small part of the overall effort. I mean, clearly we have a lot of partners and so forth, and we work very closely with the city of Las Vegas because CES does, in a number of ways, take over the city, and it's I think probably the biggest show that Vegas hosts from a trade show perspective each and every year. But I appreciate your perspective. It's a lot of hard work, and like I said before, as soon as one CES ends, we immediately start planning for the next one. And there's because it is a big event. There are a lot of considerations, and the fact that it has a citywide scope, as you mentioned, there are a lot of considerations there. But a lot of good partners help us make that happen, and we are committed to obviously a quality event, quality over quantity. Which is why we wouldn't be too disappointed if we were closer in attendance to that 170,000 trade professional mark because we do want to emphasize quality over quantity.
Yeah, and that it is, my friend, that it is. One of the highlights of every CES is the Sunday, which is going to be January 5th this year. And I get an opportunity to see some great minds discussing some awesome things. I'm talking about you and the beautiful Leslie Rodabaugh. And the talk that you guys give as far as the industry and the forecast is so informative. Can you give us a little sneak peek of what you guys are going to be talking about this year? I promise not to tell Gary Shapiro, President and CEO of CTA, if you let me know. I promise I won't.
Well, that's okay because he knows what we're going to talk about anyway. Of course, Gary knows all. But yeah, happy to, and it'll be great to see you really soon. So we're going to basically unpack a lot of the major technology themes that we'll witness at CES 2020, and then really go beyond that to kind of add perspective on how we see those technologies unfolding. 5G is certainly one of them, where a lot of initiatives are starting with the consumer enhanced mobile broadband, but as those networks propagate, that'll unlock more potential for commercial enterprises across the economy. So we'll explore that. We'll talk about the consumerization of AI, and really that's the operative word today, because we've had technologies like AI with machine learning and so forth in the commercial space, really sitting on top of very large amounts of data to help make sense of that. But Alexa and Google Assistant are really salient examples of the consumerization of AI and how AI is just pretty much manifest across the whole tech ecosystem. So really what I'm saying is it's not just connected devices today, it's connected intelligence is what we're really talking about. We'll also talk about other really important topics where we see a convergence of innovation and technologies like digital health. So here, a lot of brands, healthcare providers like Cigna, United Healthcare at CES 2020, and really, as I mentioned, a convergence of technologies, of course, sensors, artificial intelligence, but also AR, VR, and AI assisting doctors in making diagnoses across different health domains like ophthalmology or radiology as a couple of examples. So that's really important. We'll also touch on transportation, which is really at CES two words: North Hall. And I know you're very familiar with North Hall as you tend to camp out there, and in one of the places you camp out in the in those broadcast studios.
Yes.
But North Hall obviously much about automotive and broader, call it multimodal or faceted transportation options, and that's everything from bikes, scooters, self-driving vehicles, and other shuttle buses, but just more dialogue around fleets of self-driving vehicles we're starting to see deploy. So we'll talk about that and just bring more perspective again, as I mentioned, about how we see these technologies really starting to take shape and take root across America and globally as well. So that's a little sneak peek of what Leslie and I will be talking about in detail at our presentation at CES Unveiled on Sunday.
I'm so looking forward to that, and I'm always in the back, like cheering you on. So that's my buddy Steve. As we've known each other for several years, my friend. We've seen this industry go from, being the Consumer Electronic Association to the Consumer Technology Association, and not only that, I don't know if you remember that year. I'm sure you do because you were right there in the room with us. When you guys got the new signage that said CTA, we're all sitting in the audience like, what in the world is CTA? Did we go into the wrong room? And that's when the unveiled happened, and that was incredible. But the way you articulated today what we're talking about, like you do all the time, technology is everywhere. I mean, every piece of industry has a technology a component in it, and we're so glad that your organization is at the forefront of keeping us abreast of the things. And as we're speaking right now, we just got an email from NBC Universal about their keynote that's going to have Terry Crews, Mandy Moore, and others talking about the future of media and entertainment across music, television, and live events. And Steve, man, this blows me away because one of our favorite shows that we like together is Man in the High Castle. And if it wasn't for Amazon Prime having the streaming platform as well as Netflix and Hulu and all the rest, we wouldn't have been able to see that because it probably wouldn't have got picked up by the major networks. So this is something that I'm really watching right here.
Well, yeah, and maybe offline we can discuss season 4 because I just actually finished that up with Man in the High Castle. Love the whole series.
Oh yeah.
But in any case, you're right. And CES has a really strong narrative around content as it pertains to consumer tech, and obviously technology is the conduit for this. So thinking about, as you mentioned, Prime Video, but a lot of these TV streaming services like Peacock from NBC Universal, of course, Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus are also new entrants, and we'll look to HBO Max to arrive in April, I believe, of next year. But the content that we manage today, that portfolio of content, the mosaic of content, streaming over the top, whether it's to our TVs or our mobile device, is about to get more granular. But the good news is that consumers endorse options, but they abhor complexity. Nobody said that's too easy, make it harder. So these services are fantastic because they're packed with original content, like you mentioned, Man in the High Castle, original content programming from Amazon on Prime Video. So many more examples that we could get into, but all these services are accessible from your living room, from your phone, at the bus stop, wherever you are. You can log in and watch, and that's really interesting. And a lot of this activity will be talked about and more at our C-Space venue over at the ARIA at CES 2020. So a lot of brands that we've talked about here will be present. Many more in the content, social media space, really talking about the future of content, the future of media, and really what that looks like. And I'm sure we'll get some really interesting news stories that will come out of those discussions at CES 2020 C-Space.
Wow. We're gonna be busy, Steve. I'm not gonna be as busy as you because you and I get a chance to see each other for a little bit, then you're gone. I'm like, we pass each other in the halls, and you're like, hey, I gotta get over this meeting, that meeting, so you're gonna be busy, my friend. And when it,
We're just high-fiving,
yeah,
as we
yeah.
cross paths.
Tell me about it. And when it comes to just everything that's going on at CES, one of the my personal favorites, besides on January 5th when we get a chance to hear you and Leslie talk, is just how much you keep us abreast of what's going on with the press releases, your comms team, because this is not open to the public, but the public is able to hear us articulate things that are going on there. And we appreciate you allowing us to speak about that. And one area in particular that we touched on a little bit, and that is the digital health and the just the assistive and adaptive technologies. And I know over at the Consumer Technology Association Foundation over there with Steve Ewell and the gang over there, that they do a very fine work. It really shows how much you guys care about the well-being of people and their health. And can you speak a little bit about that, about how we're going to see more things when it comes to that?
Well, sure. And you mentioned the CTA Foundation, headed by the executive director, Steve Ewell, and his team. And of course, that enterprise began several years ago as really an effort to amplify innovations really geared toward accessibility and also assisting seniors as well as another group where technology can really help make a difference. I mean, just generally in the human experience, we talk about tech for good, but assistive technologies and certainly those geared for seniors to improve their quality of life. I mean, these can have really, really meaningful impacts to their quality of life. So CES is where we find a lot of these different solutions that are coming forward in these categories, whether it's for senior care, assistive technologies for a variety of applications, and even technology for babies. This is a whole another genre of technology. New and expectant parents, there's a lot of worry in many cases. The arrival of their newborn, and it's a whole different ball game, and so they're quite uninitiated. So technology coming in to basically ensure the safety of the infant, but also provide peace of mind for the new parents. But yeah, CES under health and wellness, we curate a lot of these things in different marketplaces. So we'll have the health and wellness area, part of that broader digital health narrative. A lot of this will be over at Tech West, where you can find this at the Sands Convention Center, as it's also known. So these areas will be a major theme for CES 2020. Why? Well, because as we've been discussing, these are solutions that will eventually touch all of us. We all need health care. We all have different things that we're managing from a medical or health perspective. And so technology is coming in to improve outcomes and to improve quality of life for all of us.
Yes, indeed. And Steve, you're like a tech savant, man, because you're letting us know, right? Tech West, Aria, C Space. I mean, man, you are like the walking encyclopedia for CES, man. I am impressed, man. Okay, I'm gonna throw something at you. Where can we find African Tech at?
Well, maybe in South Hall. Maybe in it's Southern Hemisphere, so I'm going to go with South Hall.
No, I'm just joking with you, my friend. But it's just really, I'm like hyped up and amped. And before I let you go, is there anything else, any other area you wanted to touch on, especially for ones who are not able to attend because this is an industry event out there, to kind of whet their appetite of what we as the media are going to talk to them about and share with them?
Well, let me just kind of reciprocate and give you props for a moment. You and all the folks in the media that we so enjoy hosting each and every year at CES, and just to tell viewers and listeners to stay tuned to channels like KMET and just to for those updates live from the show floor, because we will have an abundance of news about the show. So whatever your interest area is, chances are it will be covered in abundance. We have so many, just thousands of global media attending the event, writing stories, broadcasting from the show floor. So it is a business-only event, and we've kept it that way since the genesis of CES. But everyday consumers can drink in all the details from reports like yours, Paul. So I would say stay tuned for those updates, January 7th through 10th from Las Vegas, live from Las Vegas at CES 2020.
Yes, and we are going to have a blast because we're going to be talking about your event on the 5th, Unveiled. Gosh, our we start on Saturday. You start like the week before Saturday, don't you guys? Because you guys are there earlier getting things together. So, but I'm so looking forward to seeing you again, my friend, and spending some time with you. And what you guys are doing over there is awesome. And how can people find out more information about the great things that you guys do over at the Consumer Technology Association?
Yeah, well, this website here behind me is one place that you can look, cta.tech, right here. If I can get my head out of the way, there we go. This is one area to learn more about CTA, ces.tech for CES 2020, and just to get a view of our keynotes, amazing keynotes taking place, other conferences. And just some of our amazing exhibitors. So those are a couple of sites where people can go to for more information about the show.
Awesome. Steve, great catching up with you, my friend. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, we'll see you at the party.
Yes. We didn't even talk about all the great parties. We'll talk about it later on.
Okay, sounds good.
That was my pal, Steve Koenig. Looking forward to catching up with him. He's a very busy guy during CES, so looking forward to catching up with him and the rest of the crew as well. Well, this is the end of our show. Looking forward to seeing you real soon. Don't forget to visit me at paulamadeouslane.com. There you can connect with me on all of my social media formats, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget some of the live reports and the live shows we're going to be doing at CES 2020. It's going to be amazing. Well, until next time, folks. Oh, almost forgot. Hey, you want to go off the grid? My friends over at GoSun, they have some incredible products that help you to shop solar, off the grid. Living is easy with them. They have cookery. They have a refrigeration. It's just amazing. Go visit them at GoSun, GOSUN.co, and use the promo code TechZone, all one word, and you'll unlock a special discount for you and get some of these great products. All right. Well, I'm out of here, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Love y'all.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.